such a great topic tonight.
This is like my favorite topic ever is social media. It's my money maker.
So if you guys know, CV gets all of her business through social media. She is a boss at showing up when it comes to social media. And pretty much since COVID has been when I started to really focus. And y'all, I'm seeing it come to fruition. I text Stevie today, like, I just got a buyer through Instagram and I'm so excited. Like, it just makes me so hyped that, like, you know, everything that you always say, like, they love you as soon as, you know, they message you because they've been following you for so long. You know, it's really funny when somebody messages you and they're like, I've been following you for a year. And you're like, hold up, like looking through.
This woman, Crystal, she had called me today. I guess she'd been following me on Facebook, or we've been Facebook friends, I guess is the right term. And she just sent me a Facebook messenger and said, hey, I need you to call me about my house. And I had no idea who she was. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll call you. So I called her and we just had like such good conversation. We talked about her house. I booked the appointment. And this is what I wanted to mention on this call today, because conversations, like, this is my life, is like, I get these calls and people are always like, I know it's weird to like message you because like they see me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram and they never met me before. They, you know, and it's like they've been following me and they feel like they know me because I show up so much that they feel weird reaching out to me. And I'm like, no, girl, don't even worry about it. Like, I'm so used to these conversations, you know what I mean? But just think about you reaching out to somebody who you've been following for like over a year. Like, it's really weird for them and you want to make them feel comfortable. So I'm like, oh no, don't even worry about it. Like, I love calls like this. And like, we just, like, this is what's so great about social media is like, you are not going to get a call like this from Zillow, Realtor.com, even a referral. This woman, and this is how it goes. She's like, I've been following you. You're so successful. You're such a rock star. I love your personality. I was like, oh my gosh, like, you just totally made my day. And like, that's just the best ever. Oh my gosh. And I just like, it fires me up so much after this conversation. It kind of keeps me going because it's like, this job is so cutthroat and it's tough. And like when you have like those amazing conversations like that, you're like, oh my gosh, this keeps me going. This is why I show up like a crazy person on social media and like putting myself out of my comfort zone like every single day with this. It's so worth it.
For sure. So let's go in and let's just talk about tips, because I feel we have awesome content to go over and tons of great tips. Because we have like some really great success stories with it. So in the meantime, if you guys want to post questions in the chat box, we will be going over a lot of things, but if you have questions specifically, you know, either write them down or put them in the chat. Once we get closer to the end, we'll open up that chat and see if we've covered it or haven't covered it yet. So give us all of your awesome questions so that we can get them answered.
So based off of, you know, these phone calls that I get from other people, it's like they're touching base on things about me and things that they've really enjoyed about my personality. But the only way they're going to learn about that is if I show them that, if I put myself out there. So like, I just think about it all the time and just like how grateful I am for social media because it's one, free and I don't like to spend money, but also that like people can just like gravitate towards my personality if they like it. And like, how awesome is that?
Well, and it's one thing to work with somebody, but it's another thing to work with somebody that you relate with, right? And one of the things that you always say is that any person that you've gotten from social media, they've reached out to you, it's more than just a client. It becomes a friend. Right? Because they know, like, and trust you already from the beginning. They feel awkward calling you, and yet, you know, they instantly feel connected to you. They're already bought into you as a real estate agent. Right?
Yeah. So I don't want to like touch base on like content ideas because gosh, like
we have so many content.
Yeah, I feel like I preach about how easy content things are and I should not have to go over that. So, but how I feel that you should show up, that I think is really important, is anybody can show up as the professional. Like, you all have a real estate license and you are worthy. I think a lot of people get in their head and they're like, I don't have enough business, I don't do enough sales, or I haven't even done a sale. And they feel as though like, I'm not worthy to show up on these platforms and come off as the professional. I don't know if any of y'all feel that way, but I remember I did in the beginning, and I was looking at these other, I'm sure so many of you have felt this way, and like, oh, so-and-so does so much, and how can I compete? There's so many realtors. And I just want you to know that like, you are worthy, you have a real estate license. And I know that like, all of you on here are trying to be better real estate agents, and you are worthy to show up on these platforms. So I feel like it is important to show up as this professional. And anybody, even if you don't have sales or a lot of sales, you can still show up and provide market stats. To me, that's a way to like show up as the professional. And also like touring new construction, touring resale, we can all do that. We can all show the inventory in the market. It doesn't matter of what your sales are. So that's a great way to show up as realtor. But then there's this other aspect of our life that's probably more than 50% of our life, is like our real life. Like the real CV is so much more than just real estate. That's easy for me to show, but I try to show more of my personality, because that's how people can connect. That's how they can resonate with you. And whenever I show things that, and it's out of my comfort zone, like it's easy for me to talk about real estate, but for me to talk about other things in my life, like people who know me here, they think it's so funny, because they're like, it's so funny that you post so much on social media, but like you really don't post a lot about like your life. And like, it's because that's out of my comfort zone. Like me doing an Amazon haul yesterday or whenever it was, a couple of days ago, was totally out of my comfort zone. But it was just one of those things where I felt like I want to show up doing something different, providing value to people that I don't get anything from, and that's not real estate related. And I had so much good feedback from that. People like, thank you so much. I had no idea how to set up this double screen, and you just made it so easy. And these other items that you suggested, like, is super helpful. And like, that just selfishly made me feel good. But at the same time, like, I know that essentially had helped other people. So just thinking of ways I have on here that I want to mention for you to think of value-based content. And even though like I was thinking, is anyone even going to like this? You know, this isn't real estate related, but I think it's important to touch base on things that aren't real estate related when it comes to social media. And like, I was thinking, okay, is anyone going to benefit from this Amazon haul? Like, am I just wasting so much time like posting this? You don't know until you do it. And if you just keep doing it, and I would not have known what value that would have brought if I didn't show up and do that for other people that day. And it kind of sounds silly, but I'm trying to mention like certain things in my life that maybe you could think of examples for your life and kind of resonate with things that you could share that would be value-based content that maybe isn't always so realtor, because that's easy. That's easy to do market stats and inventory. We want to show up not being salesy, but providing value.
Well, again, we know that people want to work with people that they relate with, right? So like, if you're into dogs, like post about your dogs. If you're into your kids, you know, if you're into yoga, like people relate with those things, right? So like, one of the things that I love to do is like focus on the 3-to-1 rule. And so like, for every 3 real estate posts, you post a personal, or for every 3 personal, you post a real estate, right? So like, depending on the different platforms, like I'm not on my personal page, like sharing everything, like Facebook, for example, like I'm not sharing all of my business content on just like shared on my personal page, right? And same thing, like vice versa. So like, know your audience and know what they like. Make sure that you're posting and you're providing content that's valuable to them. And sometimes by posting personal things, you can easily tie in real estate by just throwing like a little hint of this in there. Like when buying my house and like buying like furniture and things, I was able to say like, you know, putting in like real estate, or how I was able to get such a great deal on this item and then putting it in my home, and I want it to look like, you know, a home that I sold, or I know what buyers like, so I positioned it like this, right? So like you can always like throw in hints of real estate without, you know, just being like, oh my God, I'm your realtor, and just like vomiting real estate on them. Like
No one
there's
wants to be sold. Like, I don't want to be sold when I'm looking at other people's social media platforms. I am basically sold on their personality. If like I really like them and I can resonate with them and they show up a lot and I've really gotten to like know them, that's when like I'm like, oh, she bought that? Okay, I'm gonna get that. You know,
yep,
when they're selling their product or their service, like you gravitate towards those type of people that you've
the
been able
person,
to resonate with.
the person before you
Oh yeah.
resonate with the product, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Um, so one of the ways that I've been able to kind of take people off of social media, I am all about getting email addresses. And I think that this works if you work. So yeah, you can take an email address all day, but if you only email them once every couple months, or shoot, not at all, what was the point? So what I have done that I have just become in love with is my weekly email. And so I have thousands of emails that I send out to people. And every single week, I'm providing a video. And I use Mojo, which is the dialer, but they have basically a CRM setup and it's only $10 a month. So I got rid of Boomtown, which was, I mean, my other brokerage was paying for that, but it's like over $1,000 a month. It's awesome. It's amazing. Has really, really cool features. Amanda has it. But once I got on my own, it was like, all right, I'm not spending that. I
Yeah.
like $10 a month. And I saw their templates and I was like, okay, these look actually way nicer than the email templates. And so every single week I create an email template. I'm plugging in a quick short video in there. I'm plugging in my social media handles, like short and sweet. Like who's going to read a long, detailed email? And it's just showing up consistently and providing items of value. And I feel like with social media, I'm so consistent. And I know that works. I know with anything that I show up and do in real estate to get business and I'm consistent, it's going to work. So now I'm doing it with my emails. Like at first, like no one was responding, but now it's like, now they know every single week to get this from me. And I keep telling people about it because I'm like, do you have a weekly email? Do you have a weekly email? Because my engagement has been awesome. People get to see me being me. I'm doing a short video, whereas just like a text, I feel like it's just impersonal. Just think about what you're reading through your email. Like, are you gonna read like market stats in an email text? Probably not.
No.
But if someone shows up and has a nice presentable template in a short quick video, I think is really beneficial. And then another way for me to get email addresses, just I thought a tip I could share with you is that I tell people, hey, every single week I send an email to a couple thousands of people. Do you want to be added on that list? It's just some buyer tips. It's short quick videos of me. Not salesy. I'm not going to be, but if I get some kind of like any hesitation, then I will say, don't worry. I'm not going to be like blowing you up, calling you. It's just a once a week. And like, that's it. That's all you have to say. And they're like, yeah, sure. And I feel like that's just a way for you to get in their inbox and get in front of them, provide something of value. I'm always like attaching my home buyer guide, my seller guide for free, like I always want to give and provide value to other people. So but the thing is like with both platforms, with the weekly email and the social media and I feel like people want like the secret sauce, but it's just showing up, just keep showing up.
Awesome. Love it. One of the ways, because I love that email template that you're doing, and one of the things I'm doing is something similar to it.
Yeah.
And it's using the stories and it's using the sticker that asks for the poll. And so that's one of the ways that I'm getting in front of people is, hey, have you gotten my free buyer's guide, or have you gotten my free rent versus owning guide? And like, it's never like yes or no. It's like, I've already gotten it and I love it, or haven't gotten it yet, send it to me.
Yeah.
So yes or no. And so anybody that clicks on haven't gotten it yet, I'm responding to them through a DM. And I'm like, hey, thanks so much for taking the poll. saw that you haven't gotten it, shoot me your email address and I'll get it over to you.
Just keep building it up. Keep building it up, and every single week, add people on there, add other realtors that maybe you need some accountability, and people can be like, hey, where's your weekly email at?
Yep.
Like, whatever you need to do.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, whatever you need to do to like hold yourself accountable. And then also, like, I've added other realtors on mine, and it's kind of made me want to show up even more. Like, okay, I gotta make this really good because, like, you know, Amanda's gonna see it.
Right? Right? Like extra level of accountability.
Yeah. But what makes me like keep going on it is like the engagement that I'm getting back every week, and it makes me want to keep showing up. But definitely in the beginning, it's the same thing with social media or anything that you do. You have to keep showing up, and this is another free way to show up and get in front of people and provide value. So I feel like that's a great way. Gosh, all you have to do is message somebody on Instagram. It doesn't cost you any money, and to be like, hey, I'm sending people a weekly email, just some buyer tips. Do you want to be added to that email? Like, or send a voice memo, send an actual video. Like, hey, Kim, I'm sending out a weekly email. Do you want me to add your email on here? Like, just people love when I send voice memos, and they're like always so surprised. And I'm like, this is actually a lot easier for me. And they're like you took the time to like send a voice memo to somebody. I feel like it's just so much more personable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the important thing too is like being social on social media. Am I right? Like, don't just post and ghost. Like, if somebody's responding to your poll, like, and they're saying like, yes, I want your buyer guide, of course, respond back to them. But if they say like, I've already gotten it, I'm still sending them a message like, hey, so glad that you got it. I made updates to it. Or what questions do you have about it?
What questions do you have? Is there anything you need to go over? Do we need to get on a call? Do we need to set up a time in person? There's like a million questions that you could ask, but also other ways to show up on social media, I feel like, is we are in a relationship-based business. Like, point blank, it's all about building relationships with people. So I always like messaging people, hey, do you want to get coffee together? That's how I meet like all my friends, honestly. I'm like, people are messaging me. Like my girlfriend Courtney, like she always tells somebody whenever we meet somebody new, she's like, yeah, I went down in her DM or something. Just like, I feel like that's just how it is now. And so like I message people message me. We're gravitating towards people that we are alike and that we want to surround ourselves with. And I think that's like an awesome thing. And it's not weird. Like even when we went out to dinner in Dallas and like these women showed up and they were like, oh, I felt so weird messaging you. And like everybody else was like, yeah, I felt weird too. And like the other girl was like, I felt weird. But it's like, we all do it, so it's okay.
Right. Well, and I think there's a difference between being genuine and authentic versus being salesy. I have 50 some inbox messages about like, want to grow your following, or I'm looking to partner with one DFW agent. I'm like, get out of here, guy. Like, no. So for the story, I actually have 2 Texas Rangers baseball players that I'm working with. And I got them from messaging them on Instagram.
It went down in the DM.
It went down in the DM. And it was a cold message. Like, it wasn't like, hey, so-and-so told me to reach out to you. Like, it wasn't anything like that. Like, there's so much power in being genuine and reaching out to people just by messaging them. Like, even if they don't respond the first time, that's okay. They might not know you just yet.
Yeah.
So don't give up on it. But there's so much power in DM messages. And like Stevie said, whether it's sending them a voice memo, sending them just a written text, you could share somebody's, like if you come across, I think I shared this last week, you come across like a super inspiring quote, like send it to somebody's DM and say Dave Ramsey, like I love his, and like I'll send it to someone like, hey, I saw this and thought of you. I know you're into wealth building just like I am. Thought you would like this. Thought this might make your day. Like people love that. And it's genuine. Like I literally was thinking of them.
Yeah,
so
making an Instagram story like with a quote and then like tagging like your friends on there. It's just another way to stay in front of them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So Another thing too is I think people miss out on using a call to action. So don't just post for the sake of posting, right? Like don't just post to check the box that you did it. Post with an intent. Like what is the goal of this post? Whether it's a story, whether it's an actual post on your page, like what's the goal here? Do you want somebody to drop an emoji if they relate to that? Do they want you want them to respond with, their tag somebody? Do you want them to respond with their email, favorite, whatever? Like put a call to action in there. If you're not putting something at the end, like drop a fire emoji if you agree, like you are missing a huge opportunity. People are just scrolling straight past it.
Yeah.
And just for the sake of using emojis just in the post itself, like it's gold, y'all. Do it.
I love it. I feel like I always get asked, like, how do you have so many followers? And I feel like everybody wants, like, here's the magic thing. But
right. What's the pill, Stevie? Give me the magic pill. I want it.
What had happened is I have showed up every single day for the last 5+ years. I freaking better have some followers.
Yeah.
If you're doing that and you don't have followers, then there's a problem. But there's nobody else that I can really think of that is as consistent. Like I'm so consistent. And I just feel like that's it. But I think a great way for people to find me, that's what's so great about Instagram. It besides like Facebook, it's like your friends, like they know you, or a random ad, right? But you can only have 5,000 Facebook friends. And then like Snapchat is cool and all, but the only people to see Snapchat are the people who follow you. Like there's no way for people to search for your content. And what's so awesome about Instagram is hashtagging is gold. And like literally my Excel spreadsheet in front of me right now is like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Like that's just where all my leads come from. And the main reads, because I ask everybody, I'm like, how did you find me? Or people tell me, oh, I searched hashtag Richmond home and that was a builder. And like a lot of the times people say that they're searching hashtags. So thinking about keywords your ideal customer might be searching for, not basic things like realtor life, real estate, luxury, for sale, just sold. Think about what your buyer's looking for. So I've been hashtagging like the builders here in Jacksonville. I've been tagging there's so many different like cities and towns and neighborhoods and counties and schools, and there's like very like hyper local things like I love Jax, I love 904, Duval. There's just so many like hyper local things and Jack's real estate was one that someone found me on. Like thinking of hashtags like that, that's how people can find you. And then when you got to take some time to engage with people. It's just not post and goes. It's not just on to the next post. It's okay, those new people who followed you, go check them out. Go look at their profile, see what they're about. Can you relate with them? Can you comment? Can you invite them to your next event? Can you invite them to coffee or invite them to a Zoom call or something? I just feel like that's how people have been able to find me, is like from the hashtagging.
I totally agree. And I think all of those ways, like you said, like, okay, hashtag realtor life is cool, and like, I'm also trying to get like business, y'all. Like, it's one thing to have a whole bunch of likes and a whole bunch of followers. Y'all are great, and I love support. But at the same, right? Like, I'm trying to also get clients here, right? Like, that's what we as a community do, is we hype each other up so that more likes and comments and all of that. But at the same time, we're also trying to get in front of our ideal client too. Yeah. So
don't pay for followers. I feel like that is such a crock of shit.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to.
I just think like, what is the point of paying when these people aren't going to be buying houses and they're not going to be telling their friends in India about you, and they're not going to be maybe I think there's things out there that they'll like your posts, But like, what good is that going to do? I don't notice how many people are liking someone else's posts. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not noticing that. So I feel like even if you have 200 followers, that's a lot. You've got 200 people that you could be potentially building a relationship with, a friendship with, and could help each other out. Like someone that I was talking to earlier today isn't looking for real estate. She has a business. And I was like, how could we partner up? How could we help each other out? Like, we could just see if, like, you know, maybe I could send some people your way and you could send people my way. Like, I feel like I kind of put on this persona, which is true, of like, I want to help other women. I want to help other women who own businesses. I want to like lift each other up. And so she already kind of knew that. And so I feel like when I come up like showing up for her, she's like, oh, okay. I know she's here to help. Like, and I'm just like, what can I do to help you? And so we talked about getting on a Zoom call just to like see like my next event that I do. Like, could we partner up? And like, it's just a way to build a relationship with her and with her personally, whether or not she wants to buy or sell, or her friends, or her social media, or whatever. It's just constantly, it's a numbers game. Just showing up for everybody, not having an agenda of like, what can I get from them type thing. Right. Just trying to provide value to as many people as possible. And social media is such an easy, free platform.
For sure. So I do have, just real quick on hashtags, I do have, depending on like what the post is, I have different hashtags related to those specific posts. Like if it's a buying, if it's a selling, like I do like kind of tweak them a little bit. So I just store that in my notes. Tab on my phone. Like it's nothing fancy, y'all. But I do use hashtag expert as the app. So that might be of value to you guys if you type in like home buying, homeowner, real estate, you know, all of that to get some of your ideas and get you going. Yeah. Also, if you type in like Google is going to pop up like the most typed in. So if you put like homes for sale in, and then it's going to say like Arlington TX, Arlington, Texas, Arlington, Texas realtor. Like, so the order that, you know how like Google will start auto-populating, it populates in order of like popularity, like what people are really typing in. So use that as like a guide to help you. Because if I start typing that in like Arlington real estate and like it starts populating all these different things, I'm using those hashtags because they're showing up. Yeah. People are typing in those things.
Did you miss any questions? Oh my gosh, there's 20 things down here. I just looked at it.
Okay, so hold on. I have a couple of things that I wanted to hit on while you look at those comments. So something that I recently found, which is like a game changer, I feel, you can pin comments. So if you have like a couple of people that are like I did one recently, actually it was today, and it was a TikTok video that I posted on my Instagram reel. And it was like and it was like a celebration, like little streamer thing. If you plan to buy a home in 2020, well, she did that. So I pinned that comment to the top so that anybody that looks at that, like if I have like 6 comments on there, people are going to see that comment automatically. I want them to see that, like that people are engaging on it. So if you go to your comments, swipe right, and you can click on the pin. So like that's important to me because I want people to like see that people are like if they're following my instructions, right? Like if I put a call to action on there, they're following my call to action instructions. So I found that to be like super cool. And I want people to see those comments on the top. Also, I noticed when I post an actual post on Instagram and I tag a location, I have higher engagement. Mm-hmm. So if I like put on there like that this photo was taken in Arlington, Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas, like even if it was just at my house, like I might do like Lake Arlington.
Oh yeah.
Like I noticed that my engagement is so much higher by just adding in a location. So hashtags are great. Location is great. Pinning those comments to the top, using a call to action.
I just feel like, how can you not have honestly, like I could post so much more, but I'm like, okay, well, I do post a lot. but I literally could post so much more. And I'm like, how do people say they don't have any content ideas? I'm like, coffee and contracts, for one, is like the best filler. And I'm sure there's one thing that you're doing in your day, even if it was for 5 minutes, that was somewhat interesting, that someone would want to see. It's just like so crazy to me. I think people just overanalyze what it is that they're posting. I know that for sure. Like, I know hands down we're overanalyzing, but I just like post. Go ahead.
I feel like our internet's off. Like it normally doesn't work like this. I was gonna say, I feel like in such a like small attention world that we live in, like stories is where it's at. Stevie's told me that from day one. And so that's why I'm consistently showing up on stories and maybe posting once a week, like an actual post. And my engagement is like through the roof now. So taking that advice and, you know, using that.
Videos are where it's at. I would never have found Amanda if she hadn't started showing up on stories.
Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden she showed up on stories. I was like, this girl's kind of cool.
Hey girl, hey. And then a year later, BFFs. And y'all, with stories, do not sleep on the highlights. Like if you have a highlight on your main page of like buyers and you're posting something that's kind of like just like a hint to buyers, like post the highlight to your buyer's highlight on your, you know, actual page. Like don't sleep on the highlights. There's a lot of value to be found in there. Like if somebody's going to your page and they want to look at your stories, they're going to click through those highlights.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Okay, so everyone spent all their money on my Amazon is what I'm reading. Okay, so what video system do you use? I upload it to my YouTube and I do it as like an unlisted video and I share that link. It's so simple. So when I upload it to YouTube, it gives you a link. And then in Mojo, in the template, there's a video button and all you do is plug the link in there and you just slide it over into the template and bam. And what I love about it is when someone uploads your actual email, it's a huge screen, a square screen with your face, or I usually create something in Canva. So it's like the first presentation. They can see it's me and I'll have like some kind of subtitle and then the play symbol. Whereas before when I was in Boomtown trying to share the exact same video, it would show a link. They had to click the link in order to see the video, and I just felt like that kind of seemed a little like salesy, spammy, like, is this legit? And I feel like it's really nice with Mojo where it shows like my face or whatever it is that I'm showcasing, and it just looks really nice. So it's just in YouTube in Mojo. Okay, I got a private message that says, do you use a separate email for your weekly email? I use the same email. It's stevie@steviehahn.com, and people are opening it because Mojo tells you all the reports of everything, of like who opened, who like clicked through it, who unsubscribed, and I feel like people are getting it. Do you have a way to track who downloads the guides? So
I don't. I'm sending them though.
Yeah.
Like I'm sending them an email, and sometimes if it's a lot at once, like if it's like somebody email or like DM me from Instagram or something like that, like I'll do like a BCC and I'll just send it to a list of them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just put like.
I'm getting so good at it. Like anytime I get an email address, I immediately, like even though I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll email you that form that I said I was going to send you, I'm like going in Mojo ahead of time and I'm like, I'm getting them on my email list. Like I am not forgetting. I'm so consistent and they're getting an email from me every single week.
And I feel like anybody that wants on Stevie's email list, DM her on Instagram or send her an email. Because we're not going to see this chat box. And send her an email. Because in 2 minutes when we're off of here, we're not going to have access to this entire group chat box. So.
Send me an email because I'm really trying to get better at the DMs though. Like that's a goal of mine.
How do you find your local market stats for a social media post? So Holly, there's a couple of ways that you could do this. What's that?
I got so many messages of people like, where do I get those stats at?
Yeah. So I pull them straight from our MLS. Like you can go on there and there's like, we have like this, like there's a whole bunch of bars and it's like expired is black, new listings are green, canceled are yellow. And like on the bottom right, it'll say like last 7 days and then it'll say like 24 hours, 30 days. You can change that. And you can also, if you click on settings, you can change it to like Tarrant County. You could type in a specific neighborhood. You could type in, a whole bunch of different counties. So you could do it that way. I'm telling Holly because she's in my market center. And if you're in the North Texas MLS, that's the way that I do it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways.
So how I do it is like totally different. I know that the MLS has those stats because I see them whenever you log in, but our association, which I'm sure every association breaks down the numbers.
Our board, yeah.
Yeah, every single month. Ours is, if you're in Northeast Florida, it's nefar.com. And Jacksonville's so huge. So they break up every single area, every single month. They break out all those numbers. It's like 75 pages. So I'm always like every month trying to pull like just basic numbers from that. Cause I just feel like if I throw out a shit ton of stats out there, people are just going to be like, whoo.
Yeah.
But
well, and it might be a good way like to focus on like different communities, different counties, different cities, new construction versus pre-existing. Like there's so many different numbers, like tailor the numbers to the audience that you're talking to. And then, so real quick, I want to talk about TikTok videos, like for 2 seconds, because TikTok videos are gold.
You're so good at it.
I'm working on being consistent at them and they are paying off. So not only am I looking up trending like things, but I'm looking up trending sounds through TikTok. And I'm doing usually like 3 to 4 hashtags within my TikTok, like the little description, but I'm getting like great engagement from TikTok, but y'all, Instagram Reels, okay? The Instagram Reels, they're trying to compete with TikTok.
Teach us your ways.
They're trying to compete with TikTok. So what I'm doing is recording it on TikTok first because it's so simple to use TikTok. Like I had to watch a couple of YouTube videos to figure out from these 13-year-olds like what I was doing. And then once I got it down, I was like, oh girl, here I am. So I posted to TikTok. I saved the video. And then if y'all go to Instagram and click on the top left corner to post to your story, on the bottom, do you see live story and reels? Okay, click on reels and then go to your gallery and post your TikTok video. So go to reels on the bottom and then click right here on the bottom left-hand corner. It's the box of your gallery.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, I'm teaching you. I promise it will pay off. So then you find the video that you want and you click it and then you click check and then you click check again. And then I can post it to my Instagram story and then I can share it, a post and then I can share it to my story. Y'all, the new buyer that I just got qualified today reached out to me because she found me on that.
That's awesome.
So Instagram is going to like treat people who test out like the new beta, like the new things that they're doing. Whoever adapts first, they're going to reward and they're going to treat them. They're going to put your things on like the explore page or the discover page, the for you page. So take advantage of it now.
I just saw someone's comment that I can't believe that you get business on TikTok. And there's a realtor here in Northeast Florida that has gotten 2 listings from TikTok. I'm going to share with you her handle. Okay, her handle is Jack's Real Estate. You guys should look at, she has a bajillion, like literally, I feel like it's every single day she has a video up.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to go follow her.
Yeah, 2 listings.
I will take it. Love it.
I'm trying to get better at it.
And y'all, like, go follow each other. Like, I'm not like creating these trends. Like I'm stealing them from somebody else, right? Like
I was like, Amanda, how are you coming up with these? I'm like copying you right now. And I'm like, how did you think of these?
listen, I'm not the trendsetter this time, okay? I'm copying these 12-year-olds on TikTok. And I'm just relating it to real estate.
Yeah.
But it pays off. Like it's fun. It shows a different like side of personality. Like, and again, like Stevie said, like people like meet them on their level. Like if they want to talk through voice memos, if they want to DM, if they want to text, like email, whatever, like everybody's on different platforms. Everybody communicates differently. Everybody receives information differently. So
you got to be willing to put yourself out there and take some humility. Like I feel like you put things out of you got to do things outside of your comfort zone, but that's where the growth happens and that's where the magic happens.
That is where the magic happens. Last tip is if you go to your Instagram settings and you change yourself from a personal or a business account to a creator account, you get one insight.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Stevie was like, how do I get music? I was like, let me show you, girl. So yeah, you get music, you get Instagram Reel music, and you get the like analytics, the insights to be able to like track like who's following you. Are they finding you through Facebook? Are they finding you through hashtags? Are they finding you through
Amanda,
the homepage?
Do that?
What's that?
Can you show us how to do that real quick?
Oh, sure. This is Instagram 101 featuring Stevie and Amanda.
Yeah.
Okay. So go to your home screen on Instagram. On the top right hand, click the 3 dots or the 3 lines. And then go to settings. And then go to account. And then down at the bottom, switch to creator account. Give it 24 hours and you will have music. You guys know when you post a story and like you can click like a poll or you can click like add the time or the weather. The music will pop up. You'll notice like Stevie and I within the last like week or two, like every post has a song in it. It's because we're like obsessed because now like we can have that music.
I know. I'm like, my life has changed now. It just makes the story so much better.
Like they're fun. You get to add like a little.
It did take, I think like 2 days, right? It was like after I came to Florida. Yeah. It was like 2 days later. I was like, this.
She was like, yeah, she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And we're like, wait, where's it at? So it does take a little bit of time, but
you just got to be patient.
You just got to be patient.
Okay, I hope this was helpful.